Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the weekend workout. It's a sunny day here. We're going to start with a half-hour practice with our body weight to have fun, to stay strong, to play with our strength, particularly in the handstand. But we'll start with those basics first. A quick foot warm-up, and then wrists and head necks on the floor. On a ball of foot, pull the heel off. Then go to the toe tip, point those toes in our handstand class, and as allowed, flex over the toes, then push the toes forward, returning to those balls of feet, and then extend or push the hip through to full feet. Repeat on the other side. A ball of the foot peels off the floor. Then point through the toe, flex over on the foot, toes over, and then push the toes forward, push the hip forward, and repeat one more time other side. Feel the pull, the point, the articulation over, gently asking permission to cramp up that foot, and then back to the demi, and back to the hip through. Final time, other side. Ball of foot, toe point, and over. Return to the balls of the feet, return to the heels, and use your butt cheeks so much here, and find our first balance, and just slowly rise up to those demi points. Up with control, down with control. So super slow again, keep the knees straight, and return to the floor. Then let's just get the knees going over those toes. Accordion style squat or plie as Lauren's showing there. Hips stay over the feet and then push the hips through. Let's find our second balance. This time, just look around the room maybe. And again, it's okay to have a balance aid by your side. Return to the middle and slow down. We'll go knees over toes again. This time, stay the same height, but pull those heels off the ground. This will be our last toe balance for right now. So find your glute squeeze, the stacked body, and maybe close the eyes for an additional challenge. Slowly return the heels to the floor. Slowly bend the knees. Slowly, yeah, it's a lot of slowness going on. Heels come up, and then with the hands or without.
Quickly.
Hips through. And Lauren, how should we warm up those wrists for our handstand practice here?
All right, we'll extend our arms out front, lightly retracting shoulder blades, elbow pits forward already. Very important in our handstands to have very straight elbows. So keeping those shoulders out of the ears will hinge, fingers will find the floor, bending on those first knuckles. So right now my palms aren't down, only my fingers, and I'm just gonna rock from my baby to my index. As I look down, I see that those elbow pits are rotated forward. I'm still rocking baby to index. I'm gonna keep the elbows straight as the palms come down to the floor. Once our palms are down, check back in, elbows straight, turned forward, shoulders out of your ears. Gently pull on the floor, drifting forward, and then use your fingers and send yourself back. Let's do that again. Right now, feel that all 10 fingers are helping you as you balance on these hands, as well as the callus line or those first knuckles. We're using the whole hand. We're not just sending the pressure directly down into our wrist at 90 degrees. Now, staying over top of those hands, can you press back up to those first knuckles both at the same time? And then come back down. Try not to bop out of this, but to do a couple up and downs with control. And again, elbows are straight. Last time, then we'll flick the floor away, flick the wrists, give that a little shake. Let's come back down, rotating the hands fully, fingertips, callus line, palm. This time as we sit here, shrug your shoulders up into your ears and then gently pull them down. Once they're down again, all your fingers are pushing heavy into the floor. Now your nose is the pivot point. You're looking down at the floor. I want you to do a light ear to shoulder or side bend on that neck. Then pull your head back on straight. Same thing other side. As we do this here, one more time, we're only tipping our head from side to side. We're not reaching over. Last one. Or jaw towards the front of the room. Back to center, gently bending the elbows, peeling the palms away, and then shaking that out. Whew, excellent.
Excellent is right. Let's get into that rib cage. From that position, we'll return to the hands and start stiffing an armpit in a rolling pattern. So open up those hands to a wider shape. I call it our Y shape perhaps. And then with one hand, I'll use my left, I'll turn the palm up at the knee or very close to the hip. Then look to the other side Take a second and roll, and aim to connect your shoulder towards the ground. From there, take a breath, exhale, and push back to the wide stance with the hands. Same thing other side. So turn the palm up at the hip, look through the armpit, and then aiming to connect the shoulder towards the floor. Take a breath, and back. One or two more each side. I hope that they would get a little bit easier for me as I do a couple more. Or is it giving you a feedback signal saying, hey, this is not the drill today?
As you do this, think about trying to get on the back side of the shoulder so that chin is tough, and you're really trying to get on the other side of the shoulder as you do this, thinking about imaginarily rolling.
Nice. Imaginarily or in actual fact, Lauren, does that feel like a roll for you today? I'll move out of the way.
Sure.
There we go. So the progression includes looking through the elbow, sniffing the armpit, and then rolling over the shoulder blade and through. What you do in one way, we can learn to do in the other. But just take time as you set up that wide Y stance, encourage that nice flexion shape through the rib cage, and have a little bit of fun with your rolling as well. Let's get back up to standing. We'll explore those knee bending movements in a quick little movement clock, Lauren.
All right. Let's start with our feet underneath us. We have noon on the clock in front, and the clock comes around us. We'll peel one foot up, point the foot to noon, hold the leg out there for a second, and then as we land, toe ball heel, accept the floor. Knee is going to pull towards over the toe, hips are square forward, and back heel is heavy. Feel the pull together, then push the floor forward and bring the leg back under. Repeat same leg, but now 10 or 2 o'clock. Point, pause, toe ball heel, land, pull yourself over, and then push into the floor to send yourself back. Knee front, knee opens to 9 or 3, points, toe ball heel lands. Hips are still square forward, push into the floor, bring yourself back up to tall. Last time, knee front, knee side, rotate open, point to that new corner, toe ball heel land. Here's where we've let our hips and shoulders open up a little bit, and we'll push back to center. Last one, knee bends, toe ball heel that back foot. Hips go back and hips pull into their socket to stay level, chest over top. Then pull on that front leg to bring yourself back up to the center. Let's repeat on the other side. Knee front, noon, point hold, toe ball heel land, pull yourself forward, and then straight leg back. Knee front, 10 or 2, point, soft landing. Now as you push out of this, try to straighten that leg and bring it back under you nice and straight. Knee front, knee side, 9 or 3, point, toe ball heel land, pull, then push yourself back to center. Last 2, knee front, knee side, pivot on your standing leg, point, and then land toe ball heel facing that new corner. Pull the legs together, pushing back to center. And last one, knee bends, toe ball heel, hips go back. Again, pull onto that front leg, back to tall. Give that a little shake.
And with Lauren being the clocksmith today, that means I get to be the zookeeper. So let's get back to those hands. We'll crawl around, check in. How do the wrists feel? Shoulders, and enhance the strength in the core. Let's get down to the floor through our hinge, just like our kettlebell swing would be. Chip chop on those hips, push them back, personalize that a little bit, maybe just feel a nice little tug on the hamstrings, and then get to the floor and just set up quickly on all 6 points, including the knees. Are those hands open like Lauren's warm up? Very gently, pull the shoulders down for a moment and tip your tailbone like a cow or that anterior tip. Push the floor forward through the hands. Lift the hips to the ceiling and maintain that cow tip in those hips. And hold. Return the knees to the floor for just a moment. Our priority is from our core to peripheries. That means our tailbone must stay like a cow or that anterior tip as we do that again. So press the floor forward through the hands. Tailbone tip to the ceiling. Then ask permission to straighten the knees if that's available.
Can I straighten the knees?
Ask permission all the time. And then return the knees to the floor. For the last one, repeat that again, or as we'll crawl around the room, work on a little bit of locomotion. So same cues, push the floor forward, tailbone tip up, check. And if walking around is all right for you, it's the right hand and left foot or that opposite contralateral step. And use the hands, peel and pull, feel the tension in the floor. Where is the tension showing itself on your body? We want it to be shared, not too much in any one place. Lauren walked forward and now we're walking backwards. So as room and space and feels permit, take a couple more strides and then just walk yourself back towards that hinging position and push your hips through and finish nice and tall. And then what time is it now?
Well, this time, so last time we stood on our standing leg and it remained straight. This time our standing or stationary leg will bend like a single leg squat. So we'll take our moving leg and we'll point it to noon. As we do that, our standing leg goes knee towards over toe, hips lightly tip back in that cow position to the chair behind us. Tap, not a transfer, and then everything comes up together, so hips drive through. Same leg, 10 or 2, knee towards over toe, sit back in your chair, tap, up to tall, knee towards over toe, 9 or 3, tap, and up to tall. Knee towards over toe, hips sink back, you're reaching to that 8 or 4 o'clock on the clock, and then back up. And last one, as we tap behind us, we will have to send that upper body forward a little bit, otherwise we'd fall over all the way to tall. Repeat the same thing on the other side. Other leg is planted, knee towards over toe, hips sit back, light tap, up together. 10 or 2, sitting back into the chair and up together. 9 or 3, knee towards over toe, sit back and up. 8 or 4 o'clock, tap and up. And then last one, reaching back behind us, staying square, tap, and then all the way through to tall. Shake that out.
Excellent.
Back to the zoo.
And again, that straight leg reaching that Lauren had on the front leg in this particular movement sets us up really well for the 3-point down dog transition, which then sets us up really well for the handstand progression.
Wow.
Let's get to the floor, but this time instead of the hinge, let's use our fold. So with the hands in tight like a T-Rex or a mummy, do your chin tuck. Then flex the rib cage over the spine. Lauren's somewhat gross cue is smell your own belly button.
It's
and
effective.
as you go, making sure the shoulders are staying retracted and our hips are staying over top of the feet. And then at some point, you might need to bend the knees and find the floor. And let's just get back to the all sixes position on the knees. Then, as allowed, let's step into a high planks position. Tuck the hips under. And as Lauren's wrist warm-up was, pull the hands to the feet, which might include drifting or extending on the wrist. Then push the floor forward. Flick a single foot and reach that straight leg, watch out for walls, towards the ceiling. Then pull on the floor, and in this moment, again, we're in that hollow shape or butt squeezed, core braced. Flick a floor. Are you straight? Toes point, knees straight, stay square, and pull. In this moment, the shoulder blades are pulling to the hips. When you push away, shrug the ears, pressing the floor away, elevating the shoulder, and pull through. 1 or 2 more, and Lauren always has great cues here. Anything to share?
Just making sure that you're keeping that hip square to the floor and not opening up like we would in a yoga pose. As if you open up in a handstand, you won't end up in a handstand. So make sure to keep those hips square. Breathe. And then gently back through to that plank.
And then we're coming up.
Tailbone tips.
So we'll do our forward fold transition again, aiming to sandwich in nice and tight, and like a rope, pulling down the rib cage on the core abs to climb up and extend that T-spine. Shake it out. Let's do one cool weight transfer again in a squat maybe, and then we'll get right in that handstand practice.
Okay. That's a great idea, but I was going to do another single leg squat.
Do it in a single leg squat.
So we'll stand up tall in a standing leg. We'll pull our leg up to that low flamingo hold. We're going to add on each step, remembering this is the original step and you can always come back here. Knee first is going to go over toe. Then we'll send our hip back, sitting low in our chair, holding for a second, and then hip will drive through, stand up tall. Let's pull this leg up a little bit and repeat. Knee towards over toe. Then sit back in that hip, hang out for a second, keep this off leg lifted, and press through to tall. Now holding here, keeping your hips level, let's try to straighten out that top leg and just hold it for 3, 2, bend it, do another squat. Sit back in your chair, stay. Now staying here, keeping that anterior tip of the hips, extend the leg, hold, bring it back in, press through to tall, toe ball heel to the floor, and then shake it out.
There's a reason I wanted the movement clock. It was easier than that,
Yeah.
Lauren.
Now, every time you'll hear me say knee towards over toe first. If you don't do that, you'll never end up getting down in that pistol squat. So make sure you're prioritizing that ankle mobility before you sit back in your hip. Otherwise, you'll run out of room and you'll never get that low. Trick, tips here. Okay, low flamingo position first. So it was knee towards over toe and then sit back in that hip. Then drive the hip through, press to tall. Let's repeat, but pull up that off leg a little higher. Same thing, knee. And then sit back in that hip. And then press through to tall. Bringing that leg up, we try to straighten it at the top and hold it for 3, 2, then we bent the knee. We sat back in our imaginary chair, and at the bottom position, we tried to straighten that leg again for 3, 2, bend the knee, press through to tall, toe ball heel.
Excellent.
Give that a shake.
Lauren's favorite way to get into the handstand is the tripod. So Lauren will demonstrate that tripod as I cue, and then my favorite way is the step in, and I'll do the switch. For the tripod, it's the hands open. The elbows are straight. Choose a kicking foot. And then, as Lauren's doing right here, find a little weight transfer, what we call those baby airs. As baby air feels cool, maybe come up to infant air. Then kindergarten air.
Well, you liked
and
my
middle school air.
analogy.
Ooh, I'm all about those analogies. But take your time coming up, finish like you could do another one, and shake it out. That's that tripod kick up, Lauren's favorite. This one is mine, the step in.
So, if you're watching me do the tripod, you can try it, or you can try that step in. That step in, you start standing with your arms extended overhead. You go into your kick up with elevated shoulders. Next, practice that baby air first. So what's it like to just quick kick, switch your feet? I would suggest switching your feet. It's hard on your brain as well as your body, but it's better that way. So take your time alternating those legs. And again, as you graduate from one grade to the next, you might be getting a little bit higher and higher. When you land, think about going up and over something to land this one versus attacking the floor at a 45-degree angle. Soft landing on the hands.
Soft landing on those hands. So let's repeat that one more time. But how do the wrists feel? Do you have the endurance and safety to keep doing it with integrity? If not, maybe crawl or just take some time to figure out how to best share that load, because it is a lot of weight on those hands. Beautiful. So Lauren just there integrated a scissor switch. Went up with one leg, a quick little stall in the middle, and then down with the other. It's a nice trick to try, not trick, but skill to aim to keep yourself in that suspended position a little longer. Hang time, if you will.
Excellent. So that is how you switch the legs. Ian's going back to that step in again. So things we're thinking about is we're reaching for noon on the clock. So we're trying to get up towards the ceiling. Ideally, though, we're always going back to where we came from, exiting in a safe, not sideways manner, avoiding that as best as you can. If you're nervous about kicking too much that you kick yourself over, always leave a leg behind you, not like that. Always leave a leg out in an L shape like that. And so that'll always bring you back to where you came from. Remember, just like the elephant, it's fingers and then palm except the floor. Don't just smack the floor with those open palms.
Nice.
All right, now we'll do a little squatsies.
Excellent.
Okay, We'll come to our sumo squat here today. So with our feet underneath us, this will be the first position. Then we'll climb up the leg. We're going to point and land toe ball heel in our sumo squat. Next, we're going this way. Heels will come together. Then pull up, point, toe ball heel land. This time we're going to find a low balance position, toe to ankle. Hold, hips are square forward. Lift, point, toe ball heel land. Other side, low ankle. Hold, lift up, toe ball heel land. This time, toe to knee, higher balance. Straighten, keep your bottom leg straight, toe ball heel. Toe to knee, up. Now we'll go back down the ladder. So we'll find that low balance again, toe to ankle. Hips forward, point, land center. Up, toe to ankle, knee side. Point, this time heels together, and up, straight legs. Pull up, and point, land center. Straight leg, zip. One more time, up, land center, and then up to tall.
I thought that straight leg in was going to be the easiest, but I tended to feel those adductors the most pulling in. How are you feeling with your handstands? Maybe your number is 1, 2, and 3 seconds. For us, how do we feel about 5, 10, and 15? Let's challenge some freestanding handstands today, or just the endurance and time spent in a crawl position or in that nice plank, or maybe doing that 3-point down dog. But Lauren's team, you're going to go first, and your goal here is to try a couple attempts to aim to hold for either 1 or 2 or 3, 5 seconds. It's a low number that feels safe and strong. A couple attempts to get it, whether it's Mississippi's or 1 handstand, 2 handstand, and that was more than 2. Really well done.
You didn't count, sorry.
Take rest in between.
At the beginning.
What Lauren can do, we can try to do
wrist,
as well.
Shaking the wrists out in between, giving them a little bit of break. Either go with me or go with Ian, but try to take some time off the hands. That's also where the magic happens. So Ian's aiming for that 5-second hold there. And eventually and ideally, we would love to be able to kick up into that handstand on the first one. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. It's getting a little more consistent as we practice, but practice equals consistency.
Yeah. So we practice these skills once a week with you live on Saturdays at 8 a.m. Did 5 seconds feel good? Let's go back there again. Just try to aim to keep the same number in mind, 5 seconds, and not to announcer's jinx, but just like Lauren did, the second, third, fourth time, you just tend to find that
Just
right
one?
weight. Yep.
Just one?
Yeah, that was good.
It was okay.
That was 4.2 seconds.
Yeah, it could have been longer.
Pretty close to 5. So last time here for me.
Last time?
Well, for this set.
Okay. Oh, last time. I clearly want to do more handstands because they're so fun. So whether you're crawling or holding that plank position, you're breathing underneath that. You're reaching, you're pushing the floor away, and then you're coming out safely and shaking out those wrists.
Awesome. Now, can we do one of your famous world famous weight transfer squats from second?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Okay. Let's first do this position starting in first. With your feet underneath you, slightly turned out, and that's because your butt cheeks are squeezed and you have small Timbits being held in those cheeks because you're squeezing them so much. That little divot right there. It's a good divot.
Or Tim Biebs.
Tim Biebs for the Bieber. Okay. Now, point that leg out only as far as you can go with your inseam facing forward, and then toe ball heel down. First, let's try these transfers on straight legs. Pull the floor together underneath you, feel your adductors, then press one leg away. As you go to find a single leg balance here, I want those hips level, and I want you to think about reaching to the basement out of the standing leg, or this reaching leg, and you should feel both cheeks. Then toe ball heel, pull yourself across, push, stack up, find a balance. I always think about getting my belly button over my balance point. Then toe ball heel back to center. Stay on straight leg or at a slight bend. Pull yourself across. Point the leg, reach to the basement. Then toe ball heel, pull and push. As we do this, ideally we're staying the same height. If we're bopping up and down, it's likely because that ankle mobility. So try to press the knee towards over the toe, then push down into the floor to straighten that leg. Knee back to bend, toe ball heel, pull across. Knee towards over toe point, inseam forward, straighten both. Then bend, one more time, pull across. Point, push down to grow up. Then keep pushing down and maybe find that balance on the tiptoe for 3, 2, heel comes down, then knee bends, pull across. Other side, point, straighten, press up, control the up, control the down, knee bend, pull to center, push down and away to stand up tall. Whew.
Woo, that is my favorite weight transfer movement there. Strong, powerful in that second position, and maybe find that application in your sport or whatever that task. But enough of that jargon. Let's go one more time. Yeah, it is a nice little weight transfer to stand on the dishwashing scene. But okay, let's go handstands. We did our 5 seconds and maybe you did your 1. Can you ask to do a 2-second handstand? Or for us, we're gonna aim to do something in that neighborhood of 10. So Lauren's team, let's go first. Set up in the tripod or as I do in my kick up and just breathe in. And it can't always be so perfect necessarily, but take your time. What went well? Beautiful range there, Lauren. And those toes are pointed, the knees are straight, the butt cheek is squeezed. We're bracing, heavy fingertips, the elbows are straight. Much more we could talk about here. Very, very well done repetition, Lauren.
Whew.
Very inspirational. Let's do the same.
Minus that first entry, that went pretty well. So take your time, shake out those wrists if you're off them. If you're entering your handstand, prepare for lift off. Meaning engage the core.
Elbows
Elevate shoulders. Get your shoulders over top of your wrists. Breathe and ultimately just keep practicing. So we're breathing while we're upside down. All those hands are nice and gripping the floor. If you're practicing your kick-ups here, even if you're just kicking up for the time that we're holding, that endurance that you build in your wrists, hands, and shoulders will help.
You got it. That's 1 set each. How do you feel about doing a second one?
Sure.
Check in with those small muscles, those small joints, being the wrists, the shoulders, the elbows, the neck. But here we go for a second round here, aiming to do about the same, that nice 10-second hold. Breathing, bracing, finding those ways to correct, very nice, Lauren, through the fingertips and down.
So once you do spend a little more time up there and you do practice balancing, we'll continue progressing our skills, including climbing the wall. So stay tuned for next week when we get to that again. But you'll also find, can I get out of his way, that you use your hands to balance. So you use your palms and your fingertips to push you forward back. And then as you get even more better, you start using your abs to push, pull you. And it's these subtle little movements, and you learn how subtle they need to be, because if they are too big, a flip or a flop.
A flip-flop. Right on. Well, we typically do finish this practice with that 1 minute of craziness. Maybe let's just hang out in a low squat here to give those hands a little second to recharge, and then minute of craziness.
Okay, well, we're coming down here in this low squat. We're going to play something called kind of categories.
Squatagories.
It's categories. The theme is, Ian and I are going to go back and forth saying the list of things we think about well in our handstand. Ready? You go.
Straight elbows.
Hands gripping the floor.
Elevating shoulders in a shrug.
Breathing.
Connecting the rib cage to the hips in your hollow hold.
Not squeezing your butt too much.
Pointing your toes.
Trying to stay upside down.
Having fun.
Not jinxing yourself.
Being inspired by your training partner.
All of the things at once.
Yes, getting slim pickings here, but yeah, come on up. Spend time in that gentle mobility squat, shake it out, and now we'll aim to finish our handstand practice with a minute of effort. Maybe it's a crawl. Maybe it's just laying on the floor enjoying your morning coffee. And for us, it's encroaching on that minute handstand, a really amazing number. We'll try to hit it.
You could also be doing kick-ups, planks,
That's right.
elephant walks, bear crawls,
Take your time,
down
progressing.
dogs.
Okay.
Here we go.
We'll be going in 5 seconds here. So in 5, 4, visualize it first, and have fun.
don't. I was trying not to jinx myself while I was up there. Nice lying in, breathing. I'm probably good for today on those. So I'm just going to take the last little bit of time and watching the clock. We've been up for about 45 seconds here. Still breathing. You can probably hear that dragon breath back there. Trying to breathe underneath all of that. Oh no.
That 55 seconds.
Is it the dragon breath that threw you?
Oh, it was that
The excitement.
last couple seconds. Oh man, I need to get low. I'm fine, but
You'll be
taking
fine.
some time.
Shaking out those
Getting low.
hands. Thanks for joining us today while we practice our body weight strength. And these little exercises you can do any time of day. And all you need is this much room.
Right.
And maybe like this much room. So check the ceiling fan
Just enough.
before you kick upside
Just
down.
enough.
Anyway, on Tuesday, we get back here with our strength and swings class. Be a slightly different time. It's normally at 4 o'clock, but I have a little bit of a meeting. So stay tuned for a different time of day, but always thereafter in the archives.
That's right.
On Thursday,
We do our bar with a little bit of our bell. Practice those mobility drills for the stability that helps us in those single leg squats, those beautiful straight legs in our handstands as well. It's all connected, and thank you very much for connecting with us in this Bars and Bells weekend workout practice, where we will be back next weekend. Before then, as Lauren said. And until then, we want you to stay strong, take care, and let's train soon. Have a good day.
and check out our Patreon page and make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, bye.
Always a plug. Goodbye.